Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to the next installment in my series of Get Ready With Me's, where I am focused on mostly an eyeshadow palette in my collection that I have not used yet. And today we are going to be playing around with the Singe Beauty Paisley Hoot palette. I am so excited about this. Obviously I have my makeup done now. I had so much fun playing with this palette. I could 100% see this quickly becoming like an all-time favorite palette in my collection. I am so impressed with the like shimmers in here. I feel like they are so special yet so smooth on the lids, and I love the selection of shimmers in here. I think we have like a shifting like gold, yellow, green shade, and then we have one of these shades that has like a pink base with blue sparkle in it, which I love. So I had so much fun creating today's look. The rest of my look is focused on products that I am close to finishing up in my collection, and so I'm trying to get a bunch of use out of it before the end of the year so that hopefully, fingers crossed, I can have some extra empties to share with you at the end of the year. So new eyeshadow palette, the rest of the makeup on the face is old. That is what today's video is going to be. So if you just want to hang out, chill, and get ready together, then stay tuned. First, if you have yet to subscribe to my channel and you like project painting content, palette themed content, or just hanging out and chit-chatting about makeup, that's what we do over on this channel. So I hope you consider subscribing before moving on. And other than that, let's jump into the video. Good morning, you guys. I have you zoomed in because we are going to start this look by creating my eyeshadow look, and we are jumping in to the Singe Beauty Paisley Hoot palette today, which I'm so excited about. I bought Galactic Visitor at the same time as I bought Paisley Hoot. I have not tried the Singe Beauty eyeshadow formula yet, and I'm so excited too because I feel like I've heard nothing but good things about the formula. I've heard really good things about the shimmers, and I'm just super excited to dive in. I've been really impressed with the blush that I got, so I'm excited for this. I do work today, so I'm going to do something a little bit more, I don't know, maybe I'll say boring and basic. Like, I'm gonna stick to the browns for the most part today. We'll see what happens when we get to the shimmers, but I have already primed my lids using the Ulta Beauty Matte Longwear Eye Primer. This is just my go-to favorite eyeshadow primer. I have not set my lids, and I'm not going to. I actually typically don't set my lids when I use the Ulta primer. I'll zoom you guys in maybe just a little bit further so we can see the eyes a little bit better. I'm going to start by jumping into the shade Rattan right here, which is the lightest matte brown shade in the palette. And I'm just going to start to blend that into the crease. Right off the bat, I am noticing good pigment payoff and actually like really no kick up. Ignore how irritated my skin is at me. Oh my gosh. Wow. Anyway, this is 2 passes so far with that shade. I'm just going to take just a little bit more up here to just try and soften up the edge a little bit. All right, then I'm going to take the shade Earthy, and I'm just going to take that on the outer part of my lid and use that to just kind of build up some depth. My heat just kicked on, so if you can hear like a humming, I apologize. Okay, that Earthy shade is like a really beautiful shade of brown. I know that I obviously need to blend things out, but that is a really pretty shade. Okay, I'm gonna take on a smaller brush, I'm taking more of that Rattan shade, and I'm just gonna use that to soften the outer edge here. And I do think that those 2 shades look really beautiful blended together. I really like the warmth that I'm getting from that. Already I'm thinking though, I'm like, oh, we're gonna be a little bit dramatic today at work. That's okay though. Okay, bear with me on what I wanna do next. I was just like layering some of the shades together, and I hope what I'm thinking is gonna work out. Otherwise, probably gonna have to wipe my eyes off before work. I'm taking my NYX glitter glue, as I always do, and I'm gonna pop this across the majority of the lid because I'm planning to take shimmers across almost my entire lid, just leaving a little bit of matte maybe on the outer corner. Yeah, I'm just looking down to see if there's like a matte I want to go in with on the very outer corner, and there really is not. And then I think what I'm gonna do is gonna look really crazy right off the bat, but my plan is to take Groovy, this shade right here, which is like a really beautiful duochrome shade. It kind of has that like gold green shift to it. And I'm going to take that on the inner part of my lid, the inner half. And then I'm going to take the shade Jumpsuit, which is a really beautiful metallic, which almost looks, maybe it doesn't look lighter. I was like, I feel like it almost looks lighter, so it kind of would look weird maybe that I'm doing like opposite, like dark to light. But then I'm going to layer the shade Funky, which is a really beautiful shifty pink. I think that's going to end up being my favorite shade in the entire palette. But just starting with that shade Groovy. And I prefer to use my fingers for shimmers, especially with this too. I kind of want to like make it a little bit more scattered. So I'm really just trying to like tap super lightly. And then taking Jumpsuit on the edge here. Okay, those shades look really beautiful on the eyes already. And then same thing on this eye. These shimmers are applying extremely, oh no! I did the wrong shade. Okay, I'm just gonna layer this on top and hope for the best. No, oh, I'm annoyed at myself. I wasn't paying attention and I accidentally put the shade I wanted on the outer edge and down on the inner part. That's okay. It's gonna work. No one's gonna be able to tell. Okay, that just like right off the bat, I feel like would be really pretty, but I really want to layer for fun. So I'm gonna take this shade Funky. This shade looks so pretty. Like I feel like I will love this shade just on its own, even with like a cool tone, just like one cool toned matte shadow in the crease. How pretty is that? So wet looking. I feel like this is like one of those shades that I just love. It has like a pink base and then it has like blue and pink and silver sparkle running throughout. It's so pretty. Okay, so I'm going to take that shade and I'm going to tap that across the entire lid. And I just love the way that that layers on everything. I think that's so fun. I'm just going to take a little bit more of the matte shade Rattan and I'm just going to use that to kind of blend the edges here. I feel like I took the shimmer up way higher on this eye. Whoops. Okay, I'm so excited to play with more of these shimmers and like have fun mixing and matching. Like the shade Tie-Dye here also just looks really fun. There's Tie-Dye, and I honestly feel like Tie-Dye has this really beautiful like scattered sparkle to it. Okay, I really just want to swatch Chevron too, just because I'm curious about the green. Ooh, these shimmers are so nice to work with. They're very, very smooth. And one thing I hear a lot of people say about the Singe Beauty shimmer formula is that it doesn't crease, and I can totally see how that would be the case just because it seems really like thin in a good way and smooth, whereas sometimes those like chunkier shimmers, yes, they're very impactful and they have maybe like that hollow finish or like a really, really like heavy multi-chrome, but I would rather something that's not gonna crease personally. I'm gonna go in with just a little bit more of earthy. Just gonna try and make the shimmer seamlessly blend in, hopefully just a little bit more, just because I feel like my fingers kind of went everywhere. Then taking a little bit more of that lightest matte shade, just blending out just the edge there. All right, and then I'll clean up underneath the eyes a little bit as we do the rest of the makeup. I'm just gonna wipe my under eyes with a wipe, and then we will kind of move on to the rest of the face. Okay, I know the eyes were focused on using all of my new palettes or my palettes that I'm still testing. For the rest of the face today, I want to incorporate as many products that I'm close to finishing as possible. I feel like I've gotten to that point where I'm at the end of the year that I feel like there's still like some lingering products in my collection that if I really put some effort towards, I could have them as empties by the end of the year. I would love to move out as many products as possible before the end of the year. My primer today is going to be my e.l.f. Power Grip. I am so close to being done with this. I am also working on this in a project. I honestly feel like I feel like it'll be done by the end of this week, to be honest. Like I'm really getting down to the last little bit. And then I'm like, what primer am I gonna try to use? for the rest of the year. There's nothing else that I feel close to finishing. Yeah, I'm like, shoot, I feel like this primer may even have only like 1 or 2 more days. I'm looking at my face up close right now and I'm like, I definitely should have wiped or washed my hands off a little bit better because I feel like I have so much sparkle rubbed into my face just because I had the sparkle on my fingers. It's okay. Okay, I'm letting that sink in for a minute or two, but I can start to make my foundation concoction. So what I'm gonna do today is I'm getting so close to finishing my NYX Bare With Me concealer serum, but I feel like as a concealer on its own, I wasn't gonna finish this, so I've been trying to use this as a foundation. And so what I've been doing is using a little bit of my Glossier Future Dew. I usually do 1 pump of the Future Dew, and then I'll do like 3 pumps of the NYX Serum Concealer. Oh, just dropped the Serum Concealer on the ground. I feel like I've dropped so much on the ground today. It's like one of those days where you just like get annoyed because you're like, okay, that's like the 18th thing I've dropped this morning. And I'm like, there it goes again. Anyway, I'm just going to dot that onto my face then and blend that out. I did this yesterday and I was worried that I was not gonna love this. I will say, what did I mix the Glossier Future Dew with? Oh, the other day I mixed the Glossier Future Dew with the Makeup by Mario foundation, the new one. Oh my God, it looked so bad. Those are just 2 products that, in my opinion, were never meant to be mixed. Maybe if I had laid the Glossier Future Dew down on my face and then gone over top, but I like mixed the 2 together like I just did. Wow, horrible. And I ended up like, I wore it to work because I didn't really have time to like go back on my choice after that. So then I did this combination for filming yesterday, and then I ended up like wearing my makeup for quite a while. Sometimes I'll film and then take my makeup right off, but I ended up wearing my makeup for a while and I actually like really liked the combination. It's very glowy and glossy. We are gonna powder, but thought it worked. I was like, would it be something that I feel like I want to like always have those 2 products in my collection to continue to do this? No, but definitely a good way to finish that concealer. I don't think I'm gonna finish my Glossier Future Dew by the end of the year. I still have about half of that left, but it's been a good way to get some use out of the Future Dew as well, which I'm currently working on in a project and would like to finish that like first half of next year at least. Honestly, I feel like if I keep using this combination, I could have that concealer as an empty, just tapping a little bit more on because I'm gonna go over with a sponge. I could have that concealer as an empty by my next rolling project pan update, which would be really exciting. I'm not gonna roll anything in to replace it, obviously the last month of the year, but then I can kind of just use whatever I want for concealer for the end of the year, because there's definitely not another concealer that I would be able to finish before the end of the year that I would be focused on. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what products you think you still have a chance of panning before the end of the year. What, if any, are you trying to finish? We're looking glossy and glowy, but like I said, we're gonna add powder to make this last a little bit longer throughout the day. For powder, I have been enjoying going in with my Givenchy Prism Libre powder to set underneath my eyes. I'm specifically gonna try and focus on these 2 bottom pieces of the puzzle, just because my under eyes, or just because I'm so light right now. I was so close to self-tanning this weekend, and then I was like, ugh, I just do not feel like doing it. Like, part of it is just like the fact that like, no, I didn't put concealer on. Why do I do this? Do I try and put concealer on over the powder? Or do I just roll with no? I feel like if I put concealer on over the powder, it's just gonna, I'm annoyed. All right, I don't have time to fix anything if like I try and put concealer on over the powder and it doesn't go well. So I'm just gonna powder underneath my eyes, and we're gonna just, it's gonna be okay. If we don't look quite as bright and awake underneath the eyes today, that is just gonna have to be okay. And I'll blame the fact that the day that I'm filming this, it's a Monday. I actually feel like that powder though just did a nice job of blurring enough. Then I'm actually going to take my What's Up Beauty powder instead of my Kosas powder. I've been enjoying reaching for this. I don't necessarily know that I can hit a pan in this powder before the end of the year, but I've been trying to just share the love and not just like exclusively use my Kosas Cloud Set, because I did decide to keep this powder through my declutter, so I want to like be rotating through everything. Now that my declutter series is done, and actually maybe I'll have it up before this video, but I do plan to film like a shop with me through my newly decluttered makeup collection and hopefully get back on track with doing like bi-weekly shop with me. Not shop with me, I meant shop my stash. And I want to get back on track with doing at least monthly shop my stashes, because I do kind of miss doing that. I really do love that powder from What's Up Beauty. Like, I think that's such a nice one. It really is just so thin, which for a dry skin girly, I do prefer, but I still feel like my skin looks like skin. Yes, it took away some of that glow, but it still doesn't look like totally flat and matte. I am going to use some MAC Fix Plus just to, oh, I love misting my face, just to melt that powder in a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit of lip treatment to my lips while we do the rest of my makeup. I don't know if I could finish this one before the end of the year. I'm using the Lana Lips 101 ointment in raspberry shortcake. I didn't think I liked raspberry shortcake, but the scent is definitely growing on me. I'm also trying to finish, there's quite a few lip products I feel like I'm trying to finish before the end of the year. Okay, for my bronzer, because I am so fair, I'm going in with my Fenty Beauty bronzer. It's between this and my What's Up Beauty bronzer that are like the lightest bronzers in my collection. I obviously don't think I can finish either of them before the end of the year, and honestly I'm going to be rotating through my bronzer collection some still before the end of the year, because I do have some lighter bronzers that I don't want to just strictly focus on this. But I am planning to film and update all of the pans in my collection, and I definitely have noticed finally the pan is expanding on this bronzer, so it's kind of motivated me and encouraged me to maybe try and favor this one a little bit when picking my bronzer every day, just to see how much we can expand that pan. I am really hopeful that I can finish my Fenty Beauty bronzer next year, although I do plan to get back to self-tanning at some point, like next summer at least, obviously. So I do need to focus on this one in the colder months when I am not self-tanning. All right, bronzer is on. For blush, I'm going in with my Kosas. Actually, no, I need to do my highlight. Okay, I'm gonna go into my Natasha Denona Glam Face Palette for my highlight. It has just been so long since I have like given this palette any attention, and I loved this palette when I first bought it in 2022. I included it in like my top 10 purchases of the year. So while I obviously didn't go in with any of the face shades or the eyeshadow shades today, I am going to use the shade Star Glow, the highlight here. I used this the other day. I was pulling this back out, and I actually really liked the way that this highlight looked. It was like more, like, I was gonna say more subtle. That doesn't look subtle at all. But I swear it like looked like a beautiful subtle highlight, and I loved it. I also did use a different highlighting brush that day. I'm like, oh, maybe this is, we just might be a little bit more highlighty today, and that's okay. But we're gonna put the blush on and it's gonna all come together. I also feel like I very sloppily, either like my skin is just so irritated here, there's just no saving it, but I feel like I kind of really sloppily put on my bronzer today. So I'm gonna take my puff and I'm gonna just try and carve out my bronzer just a bit. I also feel like my smile lines are looking a little creasy, so I'm gonna add just a little bit of powder to the smile lines. Yeah, I feel like part of this is my skin is just irritated. All right, back to the blush. I'm gonna go in with my Kosas Blush is Life blush. This is in the shade Bliss. I am working on this in my project pan. I honestly feel like I've been reaching for this blush a lot lately. It's just like the perfect everyday, like it just kind of matches anything. So it's just such an easy reach. But I feel like I've been kind of favoring this blush, which makes sense. I mean, it's literally the blush that I'm working on in a project. But I feel like I should kind of rotate through some of my other blushes. But for today, we're using this blush. And then, like I said, it may already be up depending on how I film things, but we're gonna do a whole Shop My Stash, and we'll get some other blushes in rotation. Especially some of the blushes that I feel like are just more fitting for this time of year, like the berries and like the bubblegum pinks. To me, just kind of scream more like winter season, so I want to make sure I'm getting use out of them when I feel like they feel seasonally relevant. Okay, I really do like the, do you see what I mean about like the way that that highlight and that blush layer together? I feel like the cheeks look really nice and glowy. Okay, I am going to do my brows, then I'll spray my face one more time. Is that a hair? Yes. So typically I would go in with my brow pomade from the Danessa Myricks Groundworks palette, but I do have two lingering eyebrow pencils, and definitely I can finish at least one of them before the end of the year. So I'm gonna go in with my NYX micro brow pencil, and I'm gonna use this to pencil in my brows. I might do that off camera just because that's really boring, but just letting you know what I am using. Okay, the brows penciled in. They're looking warmer today than I feel like they looked yesterday when I did the exact same thing. But I'm next taking my NYX brow glue, which I did just pick up a new brow glue during this Sephora sale. However, the reason I bought it is because I'm getting so close to being done with the NYX brow glue, but it's gonna be like one of those, like, it's gonna be cutting it close. If it isn't empty by the end of this year, it'll be like probably early January, or for sure by the end of January 2026. I am just hoping to finish it. I've been doing my makeup a ton lately though, so hopefully we can get enough uses to have that as an empty. And then the only tinted brow gel I have, well, I think I might have one that I capped one or two from Glossier, but I have the Milk Kush High Roll Brow Tint in the shade Dutch, which I picked up also during the Sephora sale because it was time to retire, unfortunately, my Undone Beauty brow tint, which was, I feel like I've been using that on empty for like a while. So I'm just gonna use this to add a little bit of tint. Hopefully this will cool down the brows just a bit. Maybe not though. Could also be because my eyeshadow's warmer today. Which shade do I have in the NYX brow pencil? Chocolate. Okay. Okay, I actually feel like my face is looking glowy enough, so I'm not gonna spray the one size. I think I actually am just gonna go in with my Urban Decay All Nighter today. For eyeliner, I'm going in with my Ilia eyeliner in the shade Dusk, which I've been working on for several years at this point in time, trying to finish this one off. This one is definitely not going to be an empty by the end of the year, but 2026. It has to be an empty. Otherwise, I'll know that makeup gremlins truly do exist. And they come fill your makeup products. The ones that you want to finish, they come fill at the end of the night. And then they probably eat the ones that you really like and are favorites. I'm not saying I don't like this one. I think I'm just like, I get bored. And so like, I'm just ready to use something different. But I do love a brown eyeliner in the waterline every day. This one does last, and I swear to you, I have used this well over 500 times. Like, I feel like possibly even close to like 700 times, and we still have so much eyeliner left. For the lower lash line, I'm just gonna take a little bit more of the shade Rattan, and I'm just gonna smudge that slightly. But I don't want it to be like a super smudgy under eye, because again, we're going to work. We're not going to the club. Not that you can't wear super smudgy under eye, but not that you can only wear. I don't go to the club and I wear a super smudgy under eye. What am I saying? Under eye. Okay, we gotta add a little bit of something to the inner corner. A part of me wants to add a matte white, but that might be a little bit too bold for today. So I'm gonna go in with this shade Disco, which looks like a really beautiful, almost just like light, sparkly shade. Like, does it have the slightest like yellow gold base? Oh, that's a really pretty sparkly inner corner. Okay, I'm super impressed with this palette, like right off of first impressions, I will say. I love this because it's like neutrals, but the shimmers in here are like really, really fun, but still approachable. They're not like the most multi-chromes, but they're like very approachable. Oh, I like really am impressed with the first, at least with my first impressions of this. I'm excited to wear this to work even. All right, current mascara combo. I actually have way too many mascaras open. During the sale, I picked up the Cali Ray and the Rare Beauty. Really love pairing these two together. My e.l.f. Incredicurl, like I need to call this one. I might not call it, I might wait truly until the end of the year. It's been open for a while, but it's such a wet formula that like, it's still really going, but I've had this open for, I don't remember when I first bought this. It'll probably be pushing close to 6 months, and I usually don't like to push it past 4. So I'm just trying to get as much use out of this one as possible from now until the end of the year. This is not one I would buy again. It's like, it's been open, as I said, for several months, and I still feel like the formula is still pretty wet. Like, it's not one of those that like has, I mean, it's certainly dried out some as it's been open, but like not a ton. It does a nice job of like making the lashes look thicker and more voluminous. And it does give a curl. It's just, it's kind of heavy, especially because it is such a wet formula, and I'm typically like a drier formula. I then go in with my Ilia Limitless, which I just also opened because I got this in the Revolve Beauty Advent Calendar. This is my favorite mascara of all time. I'm definitely interested in picking up their brown mascara. I haven't used a brown mascara. I feel like maybe I'll be really into a brown mascara. Like, especially if I'm doing like not super heavy makeup for a while next year. I feel like it might be something that's just like a little bit, I don't know, more approachable for the eyes. Although I will say using a black mascara has never really felt too bold for me, but I want to try a brown mascara. Oh, almost poked myself in the eye. That could have been so bad. So bad. Okay, mascara is on. I am really liking the way that today's look is coming out. For lips, it's gonna be kind of hard because I still have some of that lip treatment on. But I'm gonna go in with ColourPop Oh Snap, and then I'm gonna go in with my Lawless Lavender Sorbet because I'm getting really close to finishing that. There's definitely no lip liners that I'm close to finishing. However, ColourPop Oh Snap is probably one of my oldest lip liners in my collection, and I feel like it's starting to do that ColourPop thing where like the pencil kind of comes out. So I feel like I should try and finish this next year. Although looking at how much of this I have left and just knowing how long it took me to finish another ColourPop lip liner, I'm like, I feel like I still have so long to go with this. All right, my lip lines aren't even because my lips aren't even, so I'm trying to like extend. Okay, then I'm gonna take Lawless. Oh, I forgot that I took the stopper out of Lavender Sorbet. Oh, we really are getting so close to the end. I feel like I have, if I use this all week, I feel like this would be an empty by the end of the week. Lavender Sorbet is a really pretty color. I can't remember if I finished up a Lavender Sorbet yet or not. Velvet is my favorite, like Your Lips But Better. It's like my favorite of all the Lawless Forget the Fillers. I also do really love Cherry Vanilla. But okay, there's the lips. And here is the eye look, you guys. Maybe I'll turn off or turn down the light so you can see just how sparkly and beautiful this eyeshadow is. Okay, this might be my favorite palette that I've played with in the series so far. I also do really like the way that I'm glad that I busted that Natasha Denona palette back out for the highlight because I really like the way that that Kosas blush layers on top of that highlight. I feel like it gives a really beautiful sparkle to the cheek. Anyway, this is today's look. That is going to wrap it up for today's Get Ready With Me. I would love to know if you have any of these products. Again, I want to know what products do you think you can still finish before the end of the year. Let me cheer you on in the comments below. Other than that, thank you so much for sticking around to watch today's video and for supporting me and my channel as you guys always do. I love you guys so much, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye.